Unit 9. Listening. Activities 4 and 5.
Last weekend, I went to see the Science Museum's Living Robot exhibition, Robotville, and I really enjoyed it. It was a collection of some extremely clever robots that have been made all over Europe. There are 6 zones you can visit, each showing different types of robots that have been designed to do different sorts of things. In total, there are 20 robots from many different countries. Many of them have just left their laboratories for the first time. You could see each robot in the place it might work in the future. You know, like a classroom or a doctor's surgery. And next to each robot was their inventor, so you could ask them all sorts of questions and they were happy to answer them. They really enjoyed talking about the problems that they'd had and how they were going to improve the robots in the coming years. As well as seeing how new robots are being developed, you could also find out a bit about the history of robotics. I didn't know that the word robot was first used in the 1920s, not by a scientist, but in a play by a writer from Czechoslovakia, as it was called then. Something else that was surprising was the variety of robots they had on display. They were so different. I mean, when you talk about robots, most people think about a machine that looks a bit like a human being but moves in an awkward way and says things in an odd, metallic sort of voice. At least that's what I think of. Well, at the exhibition there were so many different types. There was a robot fish, which I didn't expect to see at all. I mean, a robot fish? And there was also a robot cat and a robot dog, which I thought was unusual because surely we want robots to help us with things like housework and stuff, not to give us extra work looking after them. But they say that in the future we'll want robots to keep us company as well as work for us. Apparently, the thing that older people complain about most isn't bad health, but loneliness. And maybe robot pets can help with that. Or who knows, maybe even human-like companions. Wow. I think this exhibition is really important. It makes us aware of how our lives might change dramatically in the next decade or two. Robots will definitely have a place in our houses, doing lots of different jobs. Cleaning is what people usually think of. You know, cleaning the carpets and so on. But I didn't realise they would be able to do more complicated things like cooking as well. Also, looking maybe a bit further ahead, they'll do routine jobs such as taking the dog for a walk or picking children up from school. We may even see them in our classrooms as teachers. It sounds like science fiction, but robots are already used in many places that we're not aware of. If you've seen any hospital dramas on TV, you've probably seen robots doing small operations. And we know that they're also used by the army to look for bombs or to bring injured people away from dangerous places. This is really an exhibition that you mustn't miss, especially if you're interested in how our world is going to look in the future. It's open until 6 every day, except Thursday, when it stays open until 7:30. But it won't be running next week. In fact, it closes this Friday. Take my advice and get down to the Science Museum soon.